Man on Newswatch, Colin Powell endorses Hillary Clinton for president.
Details have emerged on a shooting in Des Moines.
And I'll have news on the Big 12 Media Day and the Chicago Cubs in the World Series.
An all weather report. Newswatch starts now.
Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your night and week. Stay classy, Cyclones.
Thank you for tuning into Newswatch at 8 for October 25th, 2016. I'm Courtney Dust.
And I'm Tisa Tollenaar. Here are tonight's top stories. Former Secretary of State Colton Powell announced today that he will be voting for Hillary Clinton for president this November. Powell is a registered Republican who previously worked under President George W. Bush and has expressed his dislike for Clinton in the past, saying in 2014 that he would rather not vote for her. Powell's endorsement was especially critical of Republican nominee Donald Trump, calling him a national disgrace and an international pariah. Powell is the most recent of many Republican leaders to speak out against Trump.
Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton will be hosting a rally in Cedar Rapids on Friday, marking her first general election visit to Iowa. The rally is meant to encourage Iowans to vote early. The last time Clinton campaigned in Iowa was September 29th, the day early voting began in the state and prior to any of the presidential debates. It is believed that Clinton is eyeing swing states that are, according to media polls, currently torn or have close point margins between candidates. The time and place for the rally have yet to be determined.
ISIS extremists in Mosul, Iraq, are being taken down one by a vigilante known as the Sniper of Mosul. The sniper is said to be gunning down militants in broad daylight, but hasn't yet been identified. Iraqi media reported that an ISIS executioner was shot moments before publicly beheading a teen accused of supporting anti-ISIS resistance. The sniper has continued targeting members of ISIS and has killed 3 leaders over a span of 10 days, sparking a state of terror in the extremist group.
Iowa Governor Terry Branstad told reporters on Monday he thinks it would be better if Iowa State has statewide minimum wage. Following the election season, he hopes to sit down with legislative leaders and reach an agreement on this issue. While he feels implementing a statewide minimum wage could be beneficial to Iowans, he is also concerned with negative economic impacts it could bring to small businesses. Branstad says, "We have to look what is fair but also realistic. What will help people but not hurt small business? Iowa workers currently make at least $7.25 per hour, which is the Iowa and national minimum wage."
The Iowa State Homecoming Parade took place on Sunday for the first time in almost 60 years. Brandon Beecham has more.
The streets of downtown Ames were blocked off Sunday afternoon for Iowa State's first official homecoming parade in over 6 decades.
I think it's great that they started the homecoming parade tradition again, especially after the loss of Visha. I think one of the big things we lost was that Visha parade for the community.
The Homecoming Parade Committee says that this parade is not intended to replace Visha, though one purpose of this parade is to help non-Greek organizations be more involved in the homecoming celebrations.
It's a great way for student organizations to get out and be seen in the community and have a good time.
The parade only lasted around 30 minutes, though around 50 organizations were represented.
Saw a lot of community members, saw a lot of people in their Cyclone and Gold.
Allison Pitts, a co-chair for this year's homecoming parade, said that even though this is the first parade in a long time, the homecoming committee hopes they made something that will become a tradition.
I think the turnout was great. I think this is a great thing to be doing, and it was a great day for it.
I'm Brandon Beecham, ISU TV.
Ames Haunted Forest is not just for game day tailgates or beautiful leaves falling. It can also be a great place for a fright. The Haunted Forest is now open to Iowa State students and the Ames general public. The Haunted Forest was founded by Lee and Lynn Ballard in 1999 has been a family-run business ever since. Each year they try to spice things up by using different scenes and different characters to spook people. The Haunted Forest is open every weekend in October from 7 to 12 p.m.
It's almost Halloween, and Ryman Gardens is looking a little different. Josh Lamberty has more.
The changing colors and falling leaves are a visual reminder of the fall season. They also foreshadow Ryman Gardens' Spirits in the Gardens event each year, bringing the Iowa State and local Ames communities together to celebrate the Halloween season.
The Halloween spirit is, being able to dress up, have fun as a kid. Everyone out here is getting candy and just enjoying the fun times with their family and everything like that.
Spirits in the Gardens is just one of the many ways that Ryman Gardens connects and engages with the public. Events are held year-round and showcase the garden's beauty.
What we do with events, just in general, is we try to put another opportunity to come out here. Another reason why you might want to come to the gardens. And of course, this is a family event, so it brings out lots of grandmas and their grandchildren, or parents and their children, and some just whole families come out together to do this. So we're just looking for more ways to bring people out.
Along with providing an opportunity to connect with the public, the Gardens event also serves as a medium for Iowa State students to continue Halloween traditions in their home away from home.
Being able to come here with my friends and kind of enjoy the Halloween time with all the families from Ames is kind of giving me that opportunity to enjoy the holidays.
Ryman Gardens has so much to offer to students. I hope you come out and find a way to enjoy it or learn something or be enchanted, because that's our goal.
Along with candy, crafts, lawn games, and other activities, Spirits in the Gardens offers something for all ages. And as the sun sets on the gardens, the 500 carved pumpkins light up, creating a truly enchanting atmosphere for all. From Ryman Gardens, Josh Lamberty, ISU TV.
After the break, we'll have more on Justin Timberlake's selfie scandal.
And Templeton Rye will be making a return to Iowa. Stay tuned, you're watching Newswatch. Welcome back. The Vatican issued a 2-page doctrine earlier today banning Catholics from keeping the cremated ashes of their loved ones in their homes. The doctrine states that bodies, including cremated ashes, are to be laid to rest in sacred places such as cemeteries. Scattering ashes without burial is also now against the Vatican's guidelines. Cremation had been allowed beginning in 1963, although the Vatican looked down on the process. According to the doctrine, burial is above all the most fitting way to express faith and hope in the resurrection of the body.
An Oklahoma police officer suffered a gunshot wound trying to protect his fellow officers. The officer was engaged in a gunfight on Sunday with a double murder suspect. The officer was shot in the foot, but did not think much of it. He said of his fellow officers, quote, "I just did not want them to get shot," end quote. The suspect escaped by stealing a cop car and is still at large.
Templeton Rye Whiskey will be moving its entire operations to Iowa after receiving $1.6 million in tax credits from the state of Iowa. The whiskey is currently made in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and bottled in the Carroll County town of Templeton, from which the whiskey derives its name. The move will bring Lawrenceburg distilleries back to Templeton. The company faced lawsuits back in 2014 and 2015 because of false advertising. The bottle stated that the whiskey was completely made in Iowa and was Prohibition-era recipe. The company intends to remedy the situation by moving the distilleries and changing the packaging.
A 14-year-old boy who was shot in the head yesterday in Des Moines has been identified and remains in critical condition. Des Moines police identified the victim as Thuor Jiang of Des Moines. The shooting occurred near the 1100th block of Kia Way near downtown Des Moines at around 6:15 Monday evening. Police have asked anyone that may have information about the shooting or were near the area last night to contact detectives at 515-283-4868.
And now we have another edition of The Hot Seat with Taylor Mankle. This week, he talks to Malik Burton, president of the Black Student Alliance.
Welcome to the Hot Seat. I'm Taylor Mankle, joined this week with Malik Burton. Malik Burton, the president of the Black Students Alliance. Glad to have you here to be able to put you in the hot seat, get some good questions, get some good conversation going about some important stuff here on campus. What do you say to people that think white privilege isn't real?
Well, first off, you have to bring up examples of white privilege. How you could, the most notorious thing that's going on right now is the privilege of being able to be stopped by a cop and basically go about your day. Privileges in all types of mannerisms, whether that's in education, whether that's in traffic, whether that's in the store. When you can go in the store, they'll offer you the best supplies, whatever you need. But as a minority individual, if you walk into the same place, they'll try to offer you the lowest value, although your bank account can match anyone else's in the store. It's just helping people be able to see that, even all the way to Band-Aids. When we see Band-Aids, it'll match someone lighter skin more than it'll match someone like me. You could tell I'm wearing a Band-Aid versus some other people you can't tell they're wearing a Band-Aid. So there's different privileges that serve to the majority that most people don't even sit and think about, that they think most minority individuals are just complaining or, you know, not really taking into consideration certain things. But you have to sit there and, again, kind of walk people through that, because as long as people don't see something that doesn't directly affect them, they're going to think it's not a problem. What would you say, or what would you argue to people that think racism is extinct, racism is gone in America? Listen to Trump. The things that he says is just, it's not normal. It's not actually helpful to America. How he explicitly states his dislike for immigrants. When they sit down and look at all the facts and all the experience that other people have that you just don't have with other people of color, then it says that racism still exists. It's really just institutionalized to where it looks like on the basis you don't see people walking down the street, which still actually happens when people walk down the street and change sides of the street because they see a black individual or something like that walking down the street. But when you really listen to some of the things people say, it's there. It's really subtle. It may be said with a smile, but when it all comes down to it, it's a racist and really a pessimistic comment that shouldn't be said to anybody, whether you're black, white, Native American, anything of that nature. So again, be part of the family, because again, the only way that we can be better and do better is to support family. That's a perfect way to end it. Malik Burton, thanks for your time. No problem. Malik Burton on This Week of the Hot Seat.
The ex-wife of Jared Fogle, the former mascot of Subway, is suing Subway for financial damages. She claims Subway knew the former spokesperson was a pedophile, but never reported this information to authorities. Fogle was the spokesperson of Subway until he came under investigation for engaging in sexual conduct with minors and child pornography. He is currently serving roughly 16 years in prison after being convicted. Subway has not commented on the issue.
State of Iowa officials have announced the first death from West Nile virus since 2010. The victim, who has only been identified as an elderly Northwest Iowa woman, died today after complications from the virus. The Iowa Department of Public Health has confirmed at least 33 cases of the virus in the state. Several more are under investigation. The virus is spread via mosquito bite and first appeared in Iowa in 2002. According to the Federal Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention, people over the age of 60 are at the greatest risk, but all should take preventative measures this autumn by applying bug spray when going outdoors for long periods of time. We now have Imani at the desk. Imani, what's going on in the world of sports?
I'll have sports news on Iowa State soccer, the NFL, and the game ones of the World Series. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Imani Armstead with your Cyclone updates. The New York Giants cut kicker Josh Brown less than a week after new information surfaced about his domestic violence history. According to co-owner John Mara, Brown admitted to abusing his wife back in 2015, but still decided to keep him on the team. Mara said their judgment was misguided. Brown's ex-wife has come forward with more compelling evidence. NFL officials say the investigation has been reopened, and as of now, the Giants signed Chicago Bears former kicker Robbie Gould as Brown's replacement. Iowa State women's soccer team defeated the University of Northern Iowa's Panthers on Sunday afternoon. The Panthers opened the second half strong, but sophomore Claysley Mellowbird scored Cyclones the winning goal. Cyclones defended well and shut down any opportunities for the Panthers to score as they held on to a 1-0 victory. Head coach Tony Montara said, "Now we can focus on Big 12 games. It's time we started thinking about that." Remember to tune in on Friday and catch the latest game against Kansas before the Big 12 tournament. The Big 12 Conference held its official annual basketball media day in Kansas City. Coach Prom Monte Morris, Matt Thomas, Deontay Burton, and Naz Long were all in attendance for Iowa State men's basketball. Prom talked about his players' strengths and improvements from the previous season and his outlook on the season to come. He also joked about how many things have changed from his first media day last year. Cyclones begin their preseason against Savannah State Tigers on November 11th at Hilton Coliseum. Great news for Chicago Cubs as they begin to prepare for their first World Series trip since 1945 after beating the Los Angeles Dodgers 8-4 on Thursday. Wow, that's a little over 70 years. Fans already started celebrating. I grew up in Chicago, and like most fans, we have been waiting for this moment for a long time. Two of the most influential women in the U.S., Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama, expressed their overjoy on Twitter. Hillary kept up to date with the action while on her campaign jet streaming live from her phone. Though their American League opponent, the Cleveland Indians, haven't been in the series since 1997, we're all excited to see the outcome of these two teams as they both plan for their major comeback. That's all I have for sports today. The temperatures are starting to cool down out there, Taylor. What can we expect on our weather forecast?
Well, as you mentioned, Imani, we do have colder temperatures. Those look to continue as this fall temperature we're seeing now look to stay around a little while. I'll be back with your full weather forecast right after this. You're watching Newswatch. Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Taylor Mankle here with your weather report. We look at the current temps in Ames. 53 degrees, cloudy skies out there. We've got those southeast winds coming in at about 15 miles per hour, and that will continue to get a little chillier as we go on tonight. We see how today stacks up. We've had a low of 49 today. That's around the average, and of course, a while back we had a record low of 14. Now we look across the state, not just here in Ames. In Des Moines, a little warmer down south, and warmer in Council Bluffs and Sioux City as we've got in the 60s over there. On the other side of the state, even a little cooler. Davenport with 51 as we move across the nation. Now in the Midwest, we have similar temperatures up north in Minnesota, 45 degrees in the capital city there. We go to the West Coast, it's a little warmer there. Pacific Coast, really just average temperatures here, 59 in Seattle. We move down to San Fran with 68 and then 88 in Phoenix. Dallas over here in the south with 75. And then on the other side of the nation, we've got New York with 50, Atlanta with 68. Now we're going to move into overnight lows here in Ames. 51, not much of a change from what we're seeing right now. As we see across the state, very similar across the state. Some high 40s into mid 50s is just about as cold as you're going to get. Not too bad for this time in October. As we look into tomorrow, very similar to today. 58 degrees here in Ames. We see a bunch of 60s on the outliers of the state as well as in the capital in Des Moines. Now we're going to look at your extended forecast here. Starting off, we had a small chance of rain. We still have that going into the late hours tonight. Might not see anything come of that. Thursday, the sun starts to come back. 63. Thursday, we see the sun coming back. Partly cloudy skies, 63 degrees. And into the weekend, we get even a little warmer, 72 degrees on Friday, then back into the high 60s into next week. That's all I have for your weather here on Newswatch. Stay tuned as Courtney and Tisa will be back at the desk.
Welcome back from the break. This was a big weekend for comedian Bill Murray. Saturday night, his favorite baseball team, the Chicago Cubs, made it to the World Series for the first time in 108 years, and this past Sunday, Bill Murray won the Mark Twain Prize, one of comedy's highest honors. Clips of Mr. Murray's Saturday Night Live and film appearances highlighted his comedic talents and skill of improvisation. The annual Mark Twain Prize was first given to Richard Pryor in 1998. Its purpose is to celebrate comedians who incorporate social commentary with traditional genres of comedy. The ceremony will be broadcast on PBS on Friday night.
Justin Timberlake could be under review by the Shelby County District Attorney's Office in Memphis, Tennessee, after he posted an Instagram selfie from inside of a polling booth. Timberlake, a Memphis native, was there on Monday taking advantage of early voting in his state. As of May 2015, Tennessee voters are permitted to have their cell phones in the booths for informational purposes to assist the voter in making election decisions, but taking pictures is prohibited. If charged, Timberlake could face a $50 fine or up to 30 days in county jail. Officials have been quoted saying that they are thrilled that Justin can't stop the feeling, but the law is the law. His saving grace is that no formal complaint has been filed against him. Yet.
After years of debate, scholars have finally concluded that Shakespeare did not write his plays alone. Florida State University researcher Gary Taylor and a team of academics have determined using text analysis and computer algorithms that William Shakespeare's play Henry VI has contributions from Christopher Marlowe. Marlowe was a poet and dramatist who was also active in the time of Shakespeare, but also been largely overshadowed in history by the Bard. Oxford University Press has announced that future publications of the 3 Henry VI plays will include Marlowe as a co-author. That's all we have for Newswatch this evening.
Be sure to join us Thursday for more news, weather, and sports. Stay tuned for Cyclone Insiders with Han Wong right after this.